In talking with local employee-owned companies, it's very clear that employee ownership has the potential to solve a lot of problems pressing on us, on our economy as we face today. And I think I heard some of them from the Senator as I walked into the tail end of his conversation. And those things of promise include making sure that we can close racial and gender wealth gaps, making sure that we can protect community jobs amidst our aging workforce. Sometimes we hear that referred to as the silver tsunami, and better supporting employees and their families as well. To this point, and I'm an engineer, as you mentioned, so data really matters to me, data shows that workers who are employed at ESOPs report significantly greater access to training, to involvement in company decision-making, to profit sharing, and to gain sharing, all of which is, of course, really critical to promoting equity in our workplace environments. Also, furthermore, ESOPs and cooperatives have been shown to produce higher wages, to promote job preservation for their workers during periods of economic distress, as well as to invest more in their local communities than conventionally owned businesses do. So despite these benefits, it's clear, and again, I think I heard the Senator referring to this as well, that there are a lot of challenges to expanding the prevalence of employee ownership. Notably, there are financial barriers to mobilizing private investment and other regulatory barriers as well to accessing service through the Small Business Administration as well. Data, again, shows that fewer than 15% of business owners have a formal exit plan. I'm going to emphasize that again. Fewer than 15% of small business owners have a formal exit plan in place, and only a very small percentage of those businesses will be passed on to family members or bought by another local community or company. So far too often, the consequences are that business might be closed because of lack of succession planning and difficulties in finding a buyer, which therefore costs jobs and negatively impacts our communities as well. Importantly, compounding this issue is that when a business is undergoing that ownership transition, traditional buyers in the mergers and acquisition markets, in our sort of traditional capital markets, are often initiating transactions with sellers while also providing the financing as well. This is not the case when we talk about employee ownership transactions. In fact, with most employee ownership transactions or conversions, it's the seller who has to initiate and also finance in some cases, all of the transaction themselves, which means in many cases that they have to wait between 5 and 10 years to receive full payment on their investment or on their conversion. So to help solve this is, I believe, also what the Senator was referring to, I was proud to come together with Representative Dean Phillips alongside Representative Blake Moore and Representative Dusty Johnson. If you heard that, you will hear 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the House side to introduce the bipartisan and bicameral Employee Equity Investment Act. So this EEIA, because we couldn't be here without our acronyms, would utilize the SBA's existing Small Business Investment Company, or SBIC, program that would allow us to provide loans, guaranteed loans for investment funds that would be devoted to expanding employee ownership as well. So these investment funds would allow us to finance and facilitate the process of selling a company to its employees and to sustain and expand existing employee-owned firms as well. This would significantly expand access to financing, which is one of the biggest issues that we have, or hurdles that we have, while at the same time, importantly in this environment, particularly if you've been paying attention to the news lately, having zero cost to the taxpayer as well. So I'm really looking forward to working with my colleagues, both on the House side and the Senate side, to work this through the Small Business Committee and through the House floor and Senate floor to the President's desk for signature. For those who remember your schoolhouse rock, all of those things have to happen in order for a bill to become a law. And I know that this effort is just one of many policy solutions that we need to be able to support the expansion of employee ownership as well. But I am very much encouraged, particularly in this very difficult environment, by just how bipartisan this work is and how the work of employee ownership as a real opportunity for legislative help and legislative solutions